Yeah, can go live now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome to our Healthy Hearts program, our Tuesday nutrition and lifestyle education program that is tailored to people of African and Caribbean origin living in the UK, but also across the world, because I realized we had someone joining in from Zambia. Sometimes we have people joining in from Ghana, from Nigeria. You're all welcome to our Healthy Hearts program. For people who are joining us for the first time, this is a Tuesday program. It's been going on for about 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years. And so we have resources on the CAN page. If you go to the CAN YouTube page, or if you go to Facebook, you would have access to all of the topics we've had over the last 3 years from our registered dietitians, registered nutritionists, and public health experts. I'm not sure if there's any topic we haven't treated over the last 3 years, talk of type 2 diabetes, obesity, and nutrition, so nutritional management of various diseases, but as well the prevention of some of these diseases, so whatever you're looking for, you would find it on these platforms. Now, usually we are talking about how can we lose weight? How can we make sure that our blood glucose levels are, in a healthy range? We are talking about how to control blood pressure. Now, today we are talking about something different, okay? I think there was a question a couple of weeks ago. Someone asked a question about why, she wanted to know the science behind or why she's been trying her best to lose weight and she's still not succeeding. And so we decided to call on our own Dr. Alice Ojwang, who has over 25 years of experience dealing with type 2 diabetes, obese patients. We wanted her to come and just talk to us. What is the reason? Why is it that some people would do everything humanly possible, eat healthy, exercise, and will still not lose weight? People want to understand, what is the reason behind this? Is there any signs? Is it that they are not doing things right? Please, wherever you are, join in this very important discussion. I'm sure some people on this call would say they fall in this category. They have done everything right, but they are not losing weight. So join in the discussion. Put your questions in the chat box. If you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can also join in the discussion. Just drop your questions in there. We will pick these questions and address them for you. So without much ado, I'm going to call on Dr. Ojwang to start today's discussion on why we claim to do everything right and yet we still do not lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Hibbah and the team. I'm happy to be here as usual. And really, every few seconds, people are dying of complications of obesity. People are getting complications of diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity is now it's an epidemic around the world because so many people are overweight and obese. Why is that? Many reasons. So for us to actually answer that question, why is it that I do the right thing and don't lose weight? So we want to, first of all, start by answering the question, why do we gain weight? What are the causes of obesity, first of all? Number one, we know it's genes load the gun. So sometimes we are genetically predisposed to be obese and overweight. And this is because of your genes. And studies have been done on twins. They're called the twin studies, where they put the twins together, give them the same amount of food, and they all gained weight. And even twins who lived in different environments, they gained a certain amount of weight, but the twins who lived in maybe a healthy environment gained less. But the genes, the twin studies show that genetic predisposition, that you can have genes that increase your predisposition to be overweight. And what is this thing about genes? Let me simplify it. The books, it says, if you know how fat looks like. So this is how fat looks like. So we all have fats. We have fat mass and we have fat cells. So what the studies show that is when you gain a little weight, the fat cells just increase in size. But when you get significant weight, we're talking about 5 kilos is significant because it's 2 of these, then the fat cells increase in size and number. But when you lose weight, they just sit there and lie in wait. So some people tend to have more fat cells as compared to others, just because of your genes. And also when it comes to genes, also your genetic factors control your, what we call your basal metabolic energy. Let's just say the way your body uses energy, like we are sitting here, Dr. Hibbah is sitting there, I'm sitting here. All of us are using different amount of energy per second, you know, to breathe and for all the body processes. So some people tend to use less energy as compared to others. So the ones who use lots of energy, they tend to remain slimmer, and the ones who use low energy, they can easily gain weight. However, remember the genes predispose you to weight gain. That means if you live in a healthy environment and do healthy things, then you really can prevent obesity and side effects. And if your lifestyle is not healthy, then you're going to pull the trigger. So the saying I like to say is genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So if your lifestyle, you eat a lot of food, you eat excess carbohydrates, you take a lot of sugar in your diet, you're not exercising, then you're definitely going to be overweight. Your fat cells will increase in size, and eventually they increase in number, and you're talking about hundreds of thousands into millions. And when you've gained so much weight and lost it, remember the fat cells, they just sit there, they lie in wait. So if your lifestyle goes back to what is not good, then definitely you gain your weight right back. Other complications that can make people not also lose weight or is complications of treatment. Sometimes you're being treated with steroids. Steroids increase your risk of gaining weight because they also increase your appetite. Also, contraceptives have been associated with obesity because they lower your metabolic rate naturally. They interfere with the natural process of metabolic rate. And so people who take contraceptives, especially hormonal-based contraceptives, will tend to add a lot of weight. And also sometimes when you're being treated for diabetes and you're on insulin and you can't seem to control your diet, then your dosage of medication just increases. And of course, insulin helps you to store the sugar into the cells. And so the more you eat, the more the sugar is stored into the cells, and that increases also the amount of fat that is being stored. And you'll find that somebody who is on treatment and using their type 2 diabetes and they're on insulin, it can actually make you add weight. Also, other complications that can make you add weight is medical conditions like hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is a condition where your thyroid gland, which produces your thyroxine hormone, that excuse me, thyroxine hormone that controls your metabolic rate, is low. So that means that it increases your risk of being overweight. So these are just some of the causes of obesity. So when you sit down with you and we want to manage your weight, then we have to find out where is the problem. So you have to identify the problem. Where is the problem? So sometimes people have come to me and they says, okay, I am doing everything right and I can't lose weight. So once we start to identify, how do you eat? We all know that if you eat a lot of food at night when you're going to sleep, you are going to gain weight in the long run, because at night we are going to sleep. So you don't need that energy, you store it. So most people will say, I eat healthy, but eating healthy has got so many faces. Are you eating the right portions at the right time? Are you eating the right quantities at the right time? You see, your plate for dinner can have lots of vegetables. It can have wholemeal rice, brown rice, a small piece of protein, but your large meal is at night. And at night, you're supposed to be resting. So you need to use less energy, so you need to eat less. The second thing is, if you eat too little in the morning, just eating too little, always skipping meals and staying long hours without food, you're just teaching your body to be efficient at storing energy, because you're telling it conserve energy, conserve energy. There's no food, conserve. And so, of course, if you eat too little in the morning, most of the time people are not disciplined. So you're going to be snacking on, any carbohydrates that come along. And so for us to lose weight, we have to really identify. And some things I found, some of the factors that help make people not gain weight, or what causes weight gain, is sometimes people eat too little. You find somebody is trying to lose weight and they eat very little. When you eat too little, that you're not supplying your body with the basic nutrients, the body naturally goes into a conservation mode. So you can say, I eat little, but I eat healthy. Then you're not losing weight. You're just gaining weight. But it means that you're eating very little. Recently, I had a client who, that's not a good story. She was actually losing weight. She did not want to lose weight, but she was losing weight. That I can use during the discussion. But so,
Alice, before you continue, that's that
yes.
very point. I'm kind of interested in that point you made about people who eat too little. I feel like if you're eating too little, you're starving yourself. Why are you gaining weight when you're eating too little?
Well, it's because it's because the body there is always some glucose that's coming in. There's always something that's coming in. And so the body is, let me just say in lay language, the body is excited. There is some food. All right. But what really, really, really happens is you need maybe 2,500 calories a day. Let's say, for example, that's the amount of energy you need in a day. So you're eating maybe 600 calories a day. If these 600 calories a day, they last for long, like 3-4 months you're eating like this, then eventually, you're going to lose weight. And you're going to lose weight because of starvation. So the body realizes, okay, because you're not getting enough, initially it tries to conserve energy, then it starts to break down the protein, then it starts to break down other muscle for you to be able to gain energy, and so it becomes a problem. But initially, when you eat, maybe you're eating 2 slices of bread for breakfast, and you're eating something in the evening, but when you total up the calories for the day, it's little, then then the body is going to lose weight. I'm hot. Yeah. Okay. So Hibbah, from my experience, you can eat little and you will not lose weight. You have to eat enough. Okay. I had an experience of somebody who was doing intermittent fasting, okay. And she was eating 1 meal a day. Okay. The 1 meal a day, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So what happened when we started the DTLC program, I encouraged her to eat 2 days. But the truth is this, because your body is used to eating that 1 meal a day, anything that you start eating is conserved. And so what happens, the first few weeks, her weight actually went up. And this is also what happens for people who are eating very little. When I start to put you on an eating plan, because you've been eating very little, when you start to eat normal portions, your weight actually goes up. And then the body and then is when eventually you start to lose weight, because there has to be a calorie deficit. You have to eat enough to be able to supply your body with the nutrients that you need, not just energy, but vitamins and minerals.
Okay.
So what I have found also is a problem is when people I've seen in my practice 3 different types of people. And this is when they want to now lose weight. What happens? So you have 2 types of people. The first person is they exercise very hard, but then they do not manage their diet. So even if you tell them, write down what you're eating, send me a picture of what you're eating, they're not. But with their exercise, they're exercising very hard. And so this type of people, what happens is you can't sustain that very high intensive exercise. So initially you will lose weight, But the minute you're not exercising because you didn't change your diet, then you're going to gain weight, and you're going to gain weight very fast. You know, vegetables, they don't exercise, but they eat very little. Maybe they're going on a vegetable diet and they're going on just a little fruit, like extreme, you know, to cause starvation, that you're not actually losing fat, but you're actually losing muscle. But then they don't exercise. So this is also not sustainable. Sometimes we think we eat healthy, but we are not. So just after a short while, maybe 3 months or so, they will gain weight.
Can you repeat the group 2? Because your line was not very good at that point. Are you still talking about group 1? We lost you for a bit. Your internet.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Sorry. Where do I go?
So I got the first group, but I think you started talking about the second group. You said you've come across 3 different groups. You've started talking about the second group, right? Yeah. Can you just repeat that? So the first group is the people who exercise, you know, high intensity exercise without working on their diets. What's the second group?
The second group is the people who diet. They go on this 13-day diet, you know, where 14-day diet, 2 weeks diet, where they're just taking vegetable soup, or they're just taking, you know, salad, or they're just taking fruit.
Okay.
But then they also don't have exercise. And these people, you cannot sustain that kind of a diet. So after a short while, that 14 days or 1 week, you know, you have gone back to your lifestyle. And so you gain weight. And then we have the third group of people who are usually the ones that what we call sustainable weight loss. They actually
Alice, your line again.
And they increase your physical activity for you to lose weight.
Third group again. There's something wrong with your internet connection. Third group. I didn't hear that properly.
The third group. Okay.
Yeah.
So the third group is what I call the group that practices what we call sustainable weight loss, because they are doing activities that are sustainable, that you can sustain for a long time. The activities are realistic. And so these are the people who they learn to exercise. For example, there are people who they don't really exercise. So when they learn to exercise, meaning they start at 20 minutes, 30 minutes, until they can be able to achieve that 1 hour. And when they get to 1 hour of walking or jogging, they can, it's because they have trained themselves to get there.
Okay, apologies, everybody. I think today we are having a bit of internet connectivity problem. Are you back, Alice? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you please. So then I also stopped.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start again.
Yeah, third group.
Yeah, so the third group, they learn that they practice lifestyle. They learn things. They learn how to exercise, and they also learn how to eat healthy, and they make changes in their diet. They make changes in their exercise, and they make changes in different parts of their lifestyle, including sleeping habits, water drinking habits, and they really improve. And these are the people who are able to sustain weight loss. And so what I've seen over the last 20 plus years is really, I've been able to help people lose weight, even people who have thyroid problems, hypothyroidism. And what I've found is the catch is you have to identify where the problem is. There is no way that you're eating healthy and you're exercising regularly and you're not losing weight. Somebody somewhere, if you sit down with them, they will be able to understand where the problem is for you to lose weight. So it is just identifying the problem. Is it my eating habits? And sometimes if you don't sit down with a dietitian, you can actually think you're eating healthy, but you're not. Either you're eating too little, or you're eating too much carbohydrates, or you're taking sugar. Like I've had a patient who've come, she's tried to lose weight for so many years, and somebody says, you have got to try and talk with Alice. And when she came to my office, 5 minutes down the line, I knew why she was not losing weight. What was the problem? Her breakfast is blended juice with almost 10 fruits. So that's what she has for breakfast every day. And the rest of the day, she will actually have healthy portions of vegetables, healthy portions of, very good portions. And so the catch here was she was taking too much fructose, fruit from sugar. And that is so much sugar that's converted into fat. And because it's a lot, the weight just stagnated. She did everything. And so when we identified that, then that was a problem. I also had a child who was brought to me who was like 2 years old, very overweight. The mother is saying, I feed the child healthy. And true, everybody thinks eating too much fruit is healthy. And eating, too much fruit, is healthy. And so when the mother came again, a few minutes, and I knew what the problem is. The child takes 2 liters of juice. This packeted juice that you buy in the market, she takes 1 liter for breakfast, she takes 1 liter in the day. That's too much sugar for a little child of 2 years old. They were overweight, and all we had to do is get the sugar out. And the child was cranky, throwing tantrums, but we agreed with the mom, if you're going to save your child, you have got to remove that sugar from their diet. And after maybe 6 months like this, the child was fine. So even with this lady, once we identified the problem, she didn't need to make many changes. She just now needed to eat 2 fruits or 3 fruits a day, and like taking 10 fruits. So you have to understand what is eating healthy, because a lot of people do not, they think they eat healthy, but they don't. What is eating healthy? So once you understand what's eating healthy, then you will be able to identify exactly where the problem is, and weight loss is going to be easy peasy. People lose weight like a joke. Sometimes all you have to do is walk, really, and eat healthy. Eating healthy means looking at the timing of meals. We know you eat too little in the morning, you're going to conserve energy. You eat too much at night, you're going to store that energy. So what is eating healthy? You need to eat a variety. You need to balance your fruits. You need to balance your vegetables. You need to balance your carbohydrates, because also people eat healthy when it comes to carbohydrates. You're eating rice and beans. You're eating double carbohydrates. You're eating triple carbohydrates, and you don't know. But all those things, they make you increase weight. So the catch is, for you to have sustainable weight loss, you have to identify the problem. Yeah, we can take questions now.
Oh, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Dr. Ojwang has explained what the possible causes could be, what the reasons are. For anyone who is saying, I've been trying my best and I'm not losing weight, you have to fall in one of these categories. Now, it's time for us to have a discussion. So if you do have any questions, please put up your hand and we will call you, or you can put it in the chat box. I am going to start. You mentioned something about hyperthyroidism. You said even for people who have hyperthyroidism, you're able to help them. What is the link? What has that got to do with weight gain or weight loss? Please.
Okay, so hypothyroidism is
hypo, not
condition.
hyper. Okay.
Hypo, low, hypo,
lower. Okay.
So hypothyroidism is a condition where your body, your thyroid gland. So let's start by your thyroid gland actually produces thyroxine hormone, which is what controls your metabolic rate. And so when your thyroxine hormones are low, then your metabolic rate reduces. And so people who have hypothyroidism conditions always tend to gain a lot of weight. So initially, a lot of them are also managed as healthy obese. So you teach them to eat healthy, and then they do what is possible in terms of their exercise, and they eat healthy, they obey the rules, they sleep well, they take their water, the total lifestyle change program. And so you find that we have healthy obese. Because of the medical conditions, they're not able to lose weight. However, most of this, I work with an endocrinologist, and these people with hypothyroidism, they're actually given thyroxine replacement hormones. They're given oral medication to help them to increase their thyroxine levels. They're also you can also be supplemented with selenium and iodine. And these studies have shown that usually when somebody is hypothyroidism, they also need extra iodine to be able to help the thyroid produce more thyroxine hormone. And so giving them thyroxine, also, supplementing iodine and selenium actually has been shown to improve thyroid function and also improve weight loss. And so this is evidence-based. So some of the patients actually, they respond very well to this supplement. And I just get one that is actually combined. And of course, they also get a dietary education, so they follow the rules. So once you identify all the problems, everything they're doing, their diet, their lifestyle, their exercise, their sleeping habits, and then yes, they have a thyroid problem. So this is what you have to do. Their weight loss tends to be a lot slower than other people, but I found people who have responded very well. So we work with the endocrinologist, they do their part, I do my part, we monitor the patient, and they practice very well. When I started practicing obesity and weight loss, then I would actually okay, this is a condition. You just have a person, just eat healthy, exercise, let's try not to give that person, but others have actually also lost weight a lot slower than the rest, but they can also lose weight. Yes.
Alice, please, you have to repeat that again. We lost you over there. When you started practicing obesity, then your line went bad. I didn't hear a word of what you said. Please.
I'm sorry. I guess it's just one of those days. So what I was saying, when I started practicing and really specializing in weight management, when I met people with hypothyroidism condition, I also just managed them as a healthy overweight person, just help them to learn to eat healthy so they do not gain any more weight. Because their life, if you have hypothyroidism and then healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle, your weight can be normal. So when I started practicing, I used to just maintain them at healthy eating. But with time, there's been so many studies and there's so much evidence to show that when they are treated properly with the endocrinologist, and then they're supplemented with iodine and selenium, they can lose weight, and they can lose weight normally like anybody else trying to lose weight without hypothyroidism. But some of them also lose weight, they lose weight, but a lot slower compared to other people who are trying to lose weight.
Okay, thank you. Now, there's a lot of research evidence to show that when people lose weight, even when they've gone through a healthy lifestyle program, so I don't mean people who go on to fad diets, 2-3 years down the line, a lot of people go back to, they gain the weight back. From your experience, have you had successful stories? Have you been able to manage people who have sustained these, the weight loss? And what are your thoughts about these people who always go back to these habits? Even the people who go through the, lifestyle approach and not the fad diet approach to losing weight?
Yeah, it's been shown that even up to 60% will go back to their former lifestyle. They start picking it up slowly. And what has been shown is one is, we always have challenges. You have challenges. Maybe you move to a new environment, okay? You had a lifestyle that was set. You're exercising regularly, you're eating healthy regularly, you know where to shop, you have your social, your family that actually support your eating healthy habits. And then you move to an environment, you cannot exercise like you used to exercise. All right. You cannot eat healthy. Your environment has changed. You're more exposed to fatty foods and unhealthy foods. Maybe you
do you want to switch off your video? Maybe that would... Yeah, maybe you should.
You used to maybe work 8 to 5 or maybe I change my network.
I'll switch off the video and then let's see if that would be helpful.
Okay. Do you want to switch it off for me? Somehow I'm having a problem doing that.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Okay, so people actually because people's lifestyle change, your comfort zone changes, your time, your exercise, your environment changes, then you can actually because of the challenges you start having, then it can affect your lifestyle. So that is why most people, they say up to 60% are going to gain weight. And over maybe in another 4 or 5 years, they can gain all the weight that they have lost. That's just because their lifestyle changes completely. They end up going to bad habits, not because they don't know, but because of the circumstance that they are. But what I have seen actually has helped a lot of people to maintain their weight is they constantly see their dietitian. Like I have people I've been managing for 10 years. So every 6 months, they have a visit. Then you found you gained 2 kilos. Like, oh, why did you gain 2 kilos? Okay, this was the challenge. So people who maintain contact with their health provider over the years are less likely to they will gain weight, but maybe a smaller percentage as compared to people who lose contact with their health professional who was helping them to lose weight. Yeah.
Okay. Where am I? Something I wanted to add to what you've just said with regards to people going back to old habits, something that I've recently found in the research. So a lot of the times people tend to focus on the outcome. And this is something I'm constantly preaching now. Over the weekend, I was in a conference in Manchester and I was talking about this, so I feel like people focus on the outcome all the time. I want to lose 20 kilos. And so they go on to a 6-month program and then they lose the 20 kilos and that is it. You've lost the weight. And so, it's anticlimax. What next? There's evidence to show that rather than focusing only on the outcome, which is your ultimate goal, which is important, people need to also focus on the processes, number one, but also identity. And I'm going to explain that. So processes, what is it that you are putting in place? That is all that Dr. Ojwang will talk about as the lifestyle. So the meal prep, I've forgotten those topics we did to, all the things we learn when we are trying to change our dietary behaviors, which is not just having 2 portions of fruit and 3 portions of understanding emotional eating, understanding circadian rhythm, how to sleep well, all of those things, once you put them in place, then that is you focusing on processes. So you're not just focusing on the weight, reduction of weight, but the processes that can result in that. And then the third outcome that we don't focus on at all is the identity. What is that? So you want to lose weight. you already have certain perceptions. All of us have it, consciously or unconsciously. And those perceptions or our beliefs affect whatever we do. It affects our lifestyle. It affects, we might have not thought about these, but they are there. You know, they are ingrained in us through the socialization process. Okay. And so until we make a conscious effort that we want to change some of these world views. And the book that I was reading used an example, used going to church as an example. You know, if you want, the way you can tell that someone is a good Christian is if the person is, you know, going to church, or vice versa, going to the mosque, things like that. You know, so by doing those steps, you can describe someone as a Christian. Now, if you want to lose weight and you don't look at the identity. So do you want to be someone who practices a healthy lifestyle? I don't know what that name would be. I can't put a tag on it, but you know, what identity do you want to have? At the conference, I was asking someone that just think about, I was asking the audience that think about successful people that you know. You know, a lot of successful people, and I don't mean successful in terms of just money or wealth. Yeah, just look in your network and think about their lifestyle. A lot of these people would have healthy habits. You will not see these people going to sit in McDonald's eating every day. You know, you'll not see them eating fried foods and not having vegetables or working out. Okay, so that's the identity I'm talking about. So it's not enough to say, I want to lose weight without looking at that identity, focusing on who you want to be eventually. And a lot of the times, we don't focus on that identity. We only focus on the weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. And then you lose the weight. And then, you know, before you know it, within 6 months or 1 year, you've gone back to doing all of those things. So 3 things are recommended. As much as you're focusing on your weight loss goals, think about the processes. Now, the processes is also really important. I've had people, there was a session we did not too long ago when we're discussing what challenges people have. Why are people not working out? Why are people not engaging in physical activity? And some people said time. Yes, we all have 24 hours in a day. Yes, time is a challenge for everybody. But the point we are making here, and that is, if you want to change your identity, you have to be intentional about it. You need to ask yourself that, in spite of the fact that I work 9 to 8 p.m., when am I going to, or where within the day can I fit in working out or physical activity? That is the processes. And if you're not intentional or deliberate about the processes, and you just focus on losing weight, then eventually, yes, you will lose the weight, especially if you go into a program, you will lose weight in 3 months. But because you didn't have a structure, you were not intentional about the processes, you go back to your busy schedule, you will not get less busy. None of us is getting less busier in life. We are getting busier and busier and busier, you know. So I don't know if Dr. Ojwang is back, but I want us to remember those 3 things. We tend to focusing on the goal is not wrong. It's okay. It's good to know where you are going, but you need to focus on how you're going to get there and learn, you know, these processes well. And then most importantly, your identity. Okay, we need to all work on our identity and think of, have a picture of a very healthy person that you envisage yourself to be, and then ask yourself, whenever you are not in the mood to step out and go for a walk, or when you feel like having cake on a daily basis, you ask yourself, how would this person behave? What would this person behave? And if you get the answer wrong, you know, then you know what you're getting yourself into. Dr. Ojwang, are you back?
Yes, I am. I've been hearing you talk. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can. I want to spotlight you as well.
Yes. Yeah. So the other thing, Hibbah, that you haven't talked about, which you like, is what is your why? You know, what is your why? And just to add on to what Hibbah is talking about, is that's why I insist on lifestyle. And really, when I started practicing, then it was, okay, you're coming for weight loss, this is what you're going to do. But over the years, with a lot of learning and evidence, I structured a program, a lifestyle program, where we learn about, you know, 12 to 24 lessons from, understanding your relationship with food, emotional eating, what is your ideal meal? How do you plan for these meals? How do you increase your vegetable intake? How do you increase your fruit intake? How about water? Understanding exercise and how it impacts your health. Understanding sleeping, your circadian rhythm, and how it impacts your health. So all these things, it has to be part of your healthy living. So it's not just about lifestyle. It's not just about weight loss or diabetes control. It's total lifestyle change. You have got to identify the bad lifestyle habits that you have that affect your health, and you have got to work on changing them. And changing them doesn't take a week. It takes time. And so you have to be patient with yourself, but you have to walk to your finish line. You have to think of, what is my why? What is my end goal? What do I want to see at the end of the tunnel? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ojwang. Evans, your hand is up. Sorry, I didn't know it's been up for that long.
Well, I want to just contribute to what you are saying, but I think Dr. Ojwang also talked a lot on that.
Yeah.
The process is all outcomes, but nowadays we have a lot of things that we can measure the process outcomes and the end outcomes. As Dr. Ojwang said, we need to understand the why. We need to understand the why. So to be able to understand the why, we would have to be able to measure, see what the outcome. So for example, losing weight. If within my process outcomes is to get losing weight, the process outcomes will be like the daily 10,000 steps you're getting. Am I meeting that? It's a motivation. It answers your why. It gets you on. It makes it sustainable. So at the end of the day, you are dividing your achievements in base, as you said. You have your process outcomes that you can easily measure as you get along, and your end outcomes. So that was just what I wanted to add to that. Yeah, thank you.
Point. So your end outcome would be the outcome that I mentioned, and then the 10,000 steps would be which one?
Your process outcomes, because those are processes. Who you want to be, like your healthy diet, your healthy eating. Those are your processes, the daily ones that you can easily reach. So that means you scored a point today and you are happy for that. Those are your process outcomes, and you are scoring that.
Yeah.
And what's the end outcome? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Now that you talked about 10,000 steps, let me just share my own proud experience. So for the past 3 months, I wanted to go. People here know that for the past 2 years, every now and then we do a challenge, a 10,000 steps challenge. We do it for a month or two, and then we stop. During that time, we all put in effort to try and get these steps. As soon as we stop, because there's no motivation, we all stop. For the past 3 months, I decided to challenge myself. I decided to put these things I've been saying into practice, that outcome and process and all the 3 things I'm telling you, because I'm changing my identity to be someone who is really very physically active. I've never been. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not. When I tell people I've started running, they laugh. They want to see me running, because no, I've not been. So I want to change that identity. Yes, I've been working on my diet, that I'm okay, but I've never been an athlete. And so I've told myself, henceforth, I want to be very physically active. I want to be an athlete, but not an athlete in the sense that I'm going to be competitive. Yes, just, to keep myself healthy. For 3 months straight, I have had 10,000 steps a day, and I'm not competing with anyone. I just do this by myself, and I use that app that we all use. So I have it, and that keeps me going. So there are days that I travel, I come back and I haven't had 10,000 steps, but because I am changing my identity, I don't want to miss a day without having done any 10,000 steps. So I walk around. I'll be talking to Alice on phone and I'm walking around, because I'm changing my identity to be someone who is more physically active, or for the lack of a right word, let me say an athlete. Okay. And I have started running as well. I go for jogs, let me call it jogs, 3 times a week. Again, there's so many apps there to help us. So there's an app that I'm using, and slowly, because I'm not looking to, someone asked me, so how much kilos have you lost? I'm not looking to lose weight. That's not so I'm not even checking my weight, because I want this to be a lifestyle. I know I have lost a few kilos, but it's not my ultimate goal. So that is not what I'm focusing on. I'm just doing the processes, the daily steps. That is what I'm focusing on. And I think I'm getting there, getting somewhere. So,
Very good.
thank you. Any more comments or questions? Who wants to share their own experience? Who is doing something good that they want to tell us, or who is still struggling with weight loss that they still want to share with us? Evans, how is your own lifestyle journey going? I'm interested.
I think I'm also emulating what you are doing, and by trying to walk. I was somebody who goes to the gym more often, but of late I couldn't. But I've now taken up the walking and it's helping. But I did something just this evening, and my wife just reminded me. I parked the car by the road, and she entered to buy something. So I just started jogging. I jogged to the end, jogged back while the kids were in. I just wanted to get something out of it. The weather was cold, but I just wanted to like meet up the number of steps a day, process outcomes. Have I met them? Just any opportunity that I get, I want to use that. So yeah, those are from my side.
Some examples. And one trick to that is that you don't break the cycle. So if you are using an app to monitor that or whatever, even if you want to do it a traditional way and you have a calendar, so each time you do it, you give yourself a tick or a cross. You just get the fulfillment when you see that you keep doing it, So over the weekend when I was in Manchester and I was out the whole day and I came home, I came back to my friend's place. I hadn't had enough steps. I couldn't sleep. They were laughing at me. I'm like, I cannot miss. I've had 69 days of doing 10,000 steps. I'm not going to miss the 70th day, you see, and that kept me going, and I've done it. So if you're trying to inculcate that into your lifestyle, please try and monitor it for yourself. Anyhow you want to monitor it, there are apps, or a calendar, and then try not to miss a day. But even if you miss a day, try not to repeat it. Some things can happen and then you might not be able to do it all the time, but you don't want it to just, all the successes you would have achieved, you lose it because of one day that you couldn't do it. So I hope our experience will be useful to someone. Do I see another hand up? Yes. Please, Grace, go on. Unmute yourself if you're able to.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
I wanted to share something. So I'm on that journey. So hypothyroid. And I think about slightly under a year ago, I started working with Dr. Ojwang. And the journey has been going slow, but there has been some progress. But I wanted to share because you're talking about how you challenge yourself. So for a long time, I think before before I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism and slightly after, I found myself exercising, and every time I sat down and talked to someone, they told me I just wasn't doing enough. And so I found that process a little frustrating because obviously I was trying to lose weight and I didn't understand why I wasn't. But I stumbled across a challenge that I've been enjoying for actually, it's a series of challenges, and I'm on my 7th one now. And I thought I'd share with anyone who feels like they want to kind of privately monitor their whether you're doing your steps, in your case, like your 10,000 steps a day, or whether you are going to measure it in different forms of activity. So it's a challenge called, I don't know if you've heard of the Conqueror challenges.
No.
So okay, so I'm not a runner, and what's worse is I broke my leg a few years ago, so I can't run. I can swim and walk, but running is something I can't do. And you watch how runners do this and get these medals and all of that. So the virtual challenges that the Conqueror community do, they just give you, so they virtually set up a route. And they challenge you to finish that route within a period of time. You're given, you can choose the period of time from various options that are given to you. So like 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, or 10 or 12 weeks. And some challenges will range, and they will range from maybe 80 kilometers, which you have to finish in maybe 7 or 8 weeks, whatever you choose, to 300 kilometers, thousands of kilometers actually put together, that you do. And they're very creative. I don't know if it's something I can share here, but they're very creative about the routes that they make. They've got virtual routes, they've got real routes. The real routes will be like, for example, you walk Rome, and they'll give you, but you're walking Rome virtually. So you're taking your 10,000 steps a day, getting yourself to a challenge to walk a certain number of kilometers in a day. And by the time you finish those kilometers, you then finish this challenge. You have to keep tracking yourself on this app. And so, as you go along, it will tell you, you have now gotten to the Trevi Fountain, for example, the Rome Basilica, and it takes you through mentally a route that motivates you to stay active. And I must say, I have enjoyed them. So I've done, like I said, I'm on my 7th challenge now. It's almost become my something that motivates me to stay active all on my own. The medals as well are quite interesting. Maybe I can post something to the chat for you to see.
Yeah.
And when you're done, they actually send you a medal. And they're very committed. They'll send you a medal in the post. And the medals are very creative. I was going to say they're real routes, but they're also virtual routes. Like, for example, I'm actually now walking the Game of Thrones route. So imagine the very famous. I'm walking Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Yeah. So
please share this with us.
I will. So and it'll take you through. So if you want, you can take what's this? The winter. What was it called? Westeros. So you can walk Westeros.
Yeah.
And you can, follow, and the route will give you landmarks and things like that. And when you're done, you collect all these medals, and you're done with Game of Thrones or whatever it is, the challenge that is there. So yeah, I thought I'd share for those who like to keep it private, like me. I mean, I don't. I'm not fully motivated running with other people because I just can't keep up.
Yeah,
but this is something that I enjoy. Yeah.
Oh, Grace, please share this information with us. It sounds really interesting. Okay. And the one that I talked about, so it's also another app. You don't have to do it with people as well. It's called the Couch to 5K. So that's an NHS, app, I think. So you have a coach who is talking to you and guiding you through the journey. I think I'm on my 9th week now. So it starts really slowly. For people, I have never run in my life. So this was the first time, maybe when I was a child, but yeah. So it's for people in their 50s and 60s are also going onto this app. You have a coach talking to you. For the first week, you just run for like 60 seconds and then you walk, and it slowly increases this for you. So second time you run, it might go to 90 seconds of running, and it's not really running, it's jogging. What they emphasize is, I might need people to mute, please, if you're not talking. What they emphasize is that you're not competing with anybody. It's the distance. They want to push people, challenge people to be able to just move, so you just get someone helping you to go through the journey, but you don't really have to join group. Okay, I'm getting this feedback and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
It's quite cool.
Okay, I'm trying to mute. Please, are you able to mute yourself? Praise, are you able to mute him for me? I'm unable to find the name.
Oh yeah, it is.
My apologies. I'm just trying to find it, but I can't. Please, if
done.
He's done it. He's done it now.
Thank you. Yeah, so I guess the point we are making with this is that there's a lot of resources out there to help us. And no, you don't have to go running. People can just walk. Just move, any kind of movement. You can dance, whatever you can do to burn some calories is helpful. It doesn't have to be a run. It can just be a walk. It can be dancing. It can be whatever you feel comfortable doing. Okay, so please, Grace, share this with us so people can explore these AI available to help us to make life easier for us to be more physically active. Okay. Do we have anybody who wants to share their own experience? What is it that people are doing or struggling with when it comes to weight loss? Dr. Ojwang, are you still there? Or am I by myself now? Because I had one last question for you before you go. Okay, I think I've lost her. Before we have about 5 more minutes, so I'll still give people the chance to ask questions, comment, share any experience they have before I wrap up today's session. Tina, I've just seen you here. How is your weight loss journey going? After TLC, we had this intervention last year, which was really, really successful. I think I need to follow up on participants to see how they are doing. Are people still eating the portion sizes we recommended, or have they gone back to the large portions of fufu and eba and plantain and everything else?
Couldn't hear me. I've been here all along.
Okay. Let me pin you, and then you can give us your final words, okay? Because I don't think anyone else has any questions or comments. So we can wrap up this session. So what are you telling us? Finally, for people struggling to lose weight, for people who say they are doing everything in their everything humanly possible, and yet they are not losing weight, what are your final words to these people?
I think I liked Grace's experience. Grace is one person who she said she had hypothyroidism, but Grace was able to lose 10 kilos plus, you know. So it's possible. So we can't say we're struggling to lose weight. If you're struggling, you have not identified the problem, and so you are going to continue to struggle. So it's important to actually talk to a health professional, talk to a dietitian, and talk to people who actually know how to manage people's weight, because not everybody, even physicians, they're not the ones, they don't help you. They diagnose and treat the problem, but a dietitian will always want to find out what's the underlying problem, because once we find out what the underlying problem is, then we are good to go. So you shouldn't struggle. There's a lot of resources, there's a lot of support, and Dr. Hibbah, myself, we're all here, yes, to help you. Yeah. So maybe next time you can join the lifestyle program. It will be in January, so you can join the lifestyle program. But in the meantime, Khan is supporting you and bringing you a session like this. You know, and Grace, thank you for joining us from Zambia to help us. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ojwang. I think there's a poll on there. We'll really be grateful if people can respond to this poll for us. My final words. Dr. Ojwang has summarized it nicely. There isn't a lot for me to say anymore. If you're still struggling to lose weight, there are still some things you haven't done right. We sometimes think we are eating healthy, but we may not be. I remember someone who was on our intervention when we did it last year, constantly said that a lot of the times we think we know nutrition. When someone needs to sew a new dress, they will go to a seamstress. When someone needs someone to build for them, they'll go to a builder. But when it comes to nutrition, everyone thinks that they are an expert. Nutritionists are there for a reason. Dietitians are there for a reason. Yes, we are experts in what we eat, but we don't know the science behind everything. That's why we have nutritionists and dietitians. And so please, let's make use of these professionals. We don't visit nutritionists, we don't go to dietitians because we all think we know. And I'm not saying we don't. No, that's not what we are saying. What we are saying is that there is a lot more out there that we need to remind ourselves with, you know, like that example you gave with the fruit juices. You know, lots of people think they are eating healthy, and then they will just go on a fruit and vegetable diet, just have juices and juices and juices. That is not the healthiest way to eat. So please speak to dietitians, speak to nutritionists, join these sessions, the numbers would tell you that I'm always like, people of African and Caribbean origin would prefer the treatment part of health. You know, people would hear more about how to treat diseases rather than how to prevent. They'll spend more time listening to how to treat diabetes, but not focus on how to manage it with nutrition and diet. But we do know that when nutrition is right, when we eat healthy, we can prevent all of these diseases. Even if we live with these diseases, we can better manage it and not have the complications we are having. So I think this is just a plea that let us as a community take our nutrition seriously. Let us tell a friend to tell a friend that these sessions are there to help us. Let's make use of it and then try and make some little changes to our lifestyle so that as a community, we can have better health. So on this note, I'd like to say a big thank you to Dr. Ojwang. Alice, thank you so much. I'll invite you here again next month for another topic. Next week, I have a lifestyle coach from here. She's been practicing here in the UK. She'll be coming to share some experiences of some Black people in London that she's been working with. So Nana Okran will be here next week. Please do join us and hear her experience. The week after, I can't remember, but we still have a list of interesting topics for us to learn from and engage. So on this note, I'll bring the session to an end. We don't have Orlando today, so we are not going to have our box exercise or physical activity session, but I hope that people would find something and do at home just to still do some exercise. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying on. Thank you for sharing your story, Grace, Evans, and for others who have contributed to the session. And I hope to see you next week for another interesting session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.